warranty. 888-TRUST-NW, or just go to their website, trustnorthwest.com. That's trustnorthwest.com. These guys are simply the best, and you can trust Northwest.
Before buttons, things were much harder, like starting an outboard motor. Or even treating sleep apnea. If you've tried CPAP but struggle to get a good night's sleep, relief can be as easy as a button with Inspire.
Inspire is a sleep apnea treatment that works inside your body with just the click of a remote. No mask, no hose, just sleep. To learn more, visit InspireSleep.com. Inspire, sleep apnea innovation. Inspire is not for everyone. Talk to your doctor to see if it's right for you and review important safety information at InspireSleep.com.
Do you ever want to make it really easy on yourself? Kitty O'Neill here with a reminder about Sunday. With Sunday, you don't have to deal with showings, realtors making upgrades, or even cleaning. Sunday gives you a free, no-obligation cash offer. They take photos, do a 3D walkthrough, and they send details to local investors. Close fast or slow, and Sunday even gives you a $10,000 cash advance. Go to Sunday.com.
Broken heating, so before winter rolls in, call Bonnie and receive a full furnace tune-up for just $79, originally $129. We'll ensure your family isn't left in the cold. Bonnie, leading the way home. License number 696-355.
Pottery World, home decor, and so much more. Like more savings on patio furniture. Beautify your outdoor living space and save 15 to 50% on tables, chairs, lounges, umbrellas, and fire pits. 15% savings on thousands of pieces of fall decor and 20% off on huge selection of Halloween decorations. One visit and you'll see why we say Pottery World, home decor, and so much more. El Dorado Hills and Rockland.
So interest rates will be moving up towards the end of 2021. So if you're ready to make a home purchase or even refinance to pull some cash out, now is that time.
How do I know I'm with the correct lender?
You call Matthew Cole with West Shore Mortgage in Sacramento. You can always reach me at 530-682-4092, which is my direct cell, or my website, islandsac.com.
West Shore Mortgage is an equal housing lender. Terms, conditions, and restrictions may apply. Loan products are subject to availability and credit approval and are not guaranteed. MLS number 633188.
If your toothbrush had a theme song, this would be it. Only LL combines Oral-B's dentist-inspired round brush head with gentle micro-vibrations for a brushing experience even dentists have hailed as literally the best brush I've ever used. Get the wow of a professional clean feel every day with the LL from Oral-B, the #1 brand used by dentists. Oral-B, brush like a pro.
Why do we find popping bubble wrap so satisfying? Why do we say boop when we touch somebody's nose? Boop? Why do we turn anything and everything into drums?
Honey, I need those pots to start dinner.
Why do we sing in the shower?
I'm taking a shower.
And outside the shower.
This conference call is boring.
Rick, you are not on mute.
Why? For the same reason we play scratchers from the California Lottery. Because a little play can make your day. Please play responsibly. Must be 18 years old with the purchase player plan.
Have you tried the new sauce from Carl's Jr.? The perfect flavor of sweet and heat. Get it on the hand-breaded chicken sandwich you know, with crispy bacon and melty Swiss. Or if it's morning, hot honey on the hand-breaded chicken biscuits you crave. Honey just got its own stinger. Try it for yourself with the new hot honey hand-breaded chicken lineup now at Carl's Jr.
Feed your happy. Available for limited time at participating Carl's Jr. restaurants. Hot honey hand-breaded chicken biscuits available for limited time.
The past year showed us all why it's critical to always have the best health care on our side. So this open enrollment, there's never been a better time to choose the life-changing care of UC Davis Health. With experts in more than 150 specialties, connection to nationally ranked cancer care, heart care, and maternity care, and new discoveries in robotic surgery and human healing, this is the care that checks all your boxes. Learn more at choosehealth.ucdavis.edu. UC Davis Health. Discovering healthy.
Hey, Mom.
Hi, Uncle Consti. How you doing?
I'm great. Just out on the quad.
Not at the library.
Don't worry. I'm studying. I'm using my new high-speed mobile hotspot from T-Mobile.
Your dad told me you switched.
It was a no-brainer. With T-Mobile, now I get unlimited talk, text, and data.
You get all that on your allowance.
Yeah. I really feel like I'm adulting with T-Mobile. Seriously, you and Dad should think about switching.
We might just have to.
And the money you save could go towards my allowance, right?
Nice try.
From non-stop streaming to taxes and fees included, T-Mobile's customer benefits let you do a whole lot more than talk. Why compromise? Get value and coverage at T-Mobile, your hometown network. Visit your local T-Mobile store to switch.
Let's get ready to rumble! show. My name is Charlton with Big C. This is Charlton at Big C Sports, coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Network, on the #1 network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe, according to Big C. And a lot of little boys who love sports. I want to say today is a beautiful October the 11th, 2021. Gone with the birthday bonjour, the bitty bitty big cake. Welcome to the show. Today's show is sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers, home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade, the standard of the world. When you reach out to them, just tell them Charlton and Big C sent you, as well as a fleet of Cadillac cars also all around the world. When we say, let's get ready to rumble! All fair amount of world. I say welcome to the show, powered by 17 podcast applications all over the universe. Really appreciate that. We have #1 Google Podcast, Alexa Podcast, #3 Spotify Podcast. We have Stitcher Podcast, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio Podcast. You can follow Big C Sports. You can follow Big C Sports on Castbox Podcast. You can follow Big C Sports on Deezer Podcast. Podcast Addict. You ever been an addict of anything at all? I know some people who have. You can follow Big C Sports on Geo Savant Podcast out of London, England. They really enjoyed the Jets and the Falcons coming over there and messing up their lawn upstairs in Love and War. You can follow us on Podtail Podcast, Podcast Addict, as I mentioned, Hub Hopper Podcast. You ever been a Hub Hopper of anything? You can follow us on Stitcher Podcast, Radio Online Podcast, Luminary Podcast, and a lot of smart podcasts all over the universe. It's all fair in Love and War. I really want to say we can also be heard and seen on 4 TV platforms. Give it some praise, 4 TV platforms on Big C Sports Podcast, Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, Amazon, and Fire TV, and a lot of smart TVs all over the universe. All fair in Love and War. I always want to say people get into Ancestry.com and where you came from.com, who got their groove on before you were born, and that's why you were born.com. I love paying homage to my family legacy. I want to say on my mother's side, Mamo, she was the matriarch of the family, made sure the family stayed together. And then Pop, he was a patriarch of the family, played Negro League Baseball. Give him some praise. Got to give Pop some praise also. He also was good with moonshine. I don't know what that stuff was. Every time he drank his lemonade, we were all falling asleep later. All fair in Love and War. He said, boy, get out of that bar and mess with that stuff. That's all fair in Love and War. And then my mud dear, she was a seer, could see things and really, did a lot of things to help me get through life, as well as my grandfather had the guy. Give them all some praise. My mother, beautiful mother, started a Head Start program in Northern California, Central California. Also helped us win the league championship of Little League Baseball. Give us some praise. It may not be the World Series, but hey, when you're 11 and 12 years old, it's just like the World Series. On my father's side, we have Ashley Albert Curry, the pastor, also a businessman, owns several stations in Oakland, California, and he also did a great job. My grandmother, Alberta Curry, she was the matriarch of the family, made sure that she kept everything tight with the family, all fair and level one. My father, retired Air Force mechanic and Air Force pilot, made sure the planes did not fall out of the sky as they were flying high. That's how I learned, let's get ready to rumble. I get that from my brother Todd, his powerful voice, his dulcet voice. He's like the James Earl Jones, that kind of voice for Todd. Really like to channel Todd when I do my show. And that's why I say, let's get ready to rumble. Welcome to the show, SB-nominated Big C Sports Podcast. No scripts, no teleprompters, no producer in my ear. People say, yeah, that's painfully obvious. Hey, you try it. It's all fair level war. I also thank my son Malcolm for always sending me stats, especially on NBA basketball. My daughter Daisy at times in the past to help me set up for events. Really appreciate that, helping with the colleges and getting people on there, as well as Big C in the past doing all of his research. Really appreciate that. I always produce. Number 2, I direct the show. Number 3, I broadcast every show. Number 4, I do all the sound effects. Give me some praise for that. I do the commercials. Guess who's coming to dinner? It's all fair. 11 War. Hopefully they have a Big C burger. I do the commercials. I do the stats. That's how the Dodgers and the Giants got tied up. I don't see the stats. It's all fair. 11 War. I do the play-by-play. Touchdown! Home run! 3-point play! Oh, man, Willie! He's going all the way! You got to be an old-time Oakland Raider fan to appreciate that, especially John Gruden. What did they tell John Gruden? That loose lips sink ships. He said that somebody had lips the size of a truck tire. Wow. And they gave him $100 million, and they didn't know his past? Come on, guys. All fair in love and war. Nobody says that and gets away with it unless they're talking about African Americans. They still get $100 million. You can Google it, All Square and Leavenworth. Then I do the storytelling, and I upload every show to 17 podcast applications and 4 TV platforms. I've never missed a show since starting Big C Sports. It is September 12, 2015, and I always honor the sports universe by honoring God. In Genesis 13:15, God said, "For all the land that thou seest will I give you, and thy seed forever." Give God some praise. You don't have to wait for Sunday to give God praise. I'm not trying to interfere with TD Jakes, so you can pay some time to Big C Sports. You SB nominated Big C Sports looking for that $10 million package. I know it's on the way, as they say, it's in the mail, all fair in love and war. Also, the book of James 4:2 that we have not because we ask not. So just ask. All you can do is ask. The answer is either yes or no. I will always ask that everyone in contact for the Veterans Crisis Hotline. Every sports league is doing something on mental health. Even Hollywood's doing something on mental health. I love giving out the Veterans Crisis Hotline. They really are experiencing helping veterans and their loved ones get help. All you got to do is pick up the phone, call 800-273-8255. That's 800-273-8255. Or you can text 838-255. That's 838-255. If you're online, simply go to veteranscrisisline.net. That's veteranscrisisline.net and get our veterans some help. And for those of you who think I talk too fast, that's veteranscrisisline.net. Is that slow enough for you? It's all fair and level. We're also very happy to be affiliated with Valley Homes Weekly TV. Give us some praise on Dish TV, Direct TV, AT&T TV at the first place. San Francisco Giants, some good boys getting a group on with the Los Angeles Dodgers, and the best of 5 were tied at 1 apiece. Man, now they're at the best of getting ready to decide who's going to win that NLDS All-Star Level War. We also have we tell them that Big C still wants the World Series ticket, but they got to be in the World Series for me to get them. It's too long to walk to Los Angeles. I have to walk right over to the ballpark, Oakland Ballpark in San Francisco. Also, I want to let people know, for those of you looking to get into real estate, you want to lower your mortgage rate before the rates go up. Sometimes they go up and sometimes they go down. But before they go up, or even if they go down, check out the Big C Team dating app, because, houses get lonely too. Houses need love too. We have BigCsports.pacwm.com because houses get lonely too. When you swipe left and swipe right, you never know where you've been, whoever you're sucking on that you meet on those internet websites, giving them praise. You don't know where they were yesterday. That's why some people got issues now. A house, you know where that house is. It never leaves you. It never forsakes you. It's always there. Unless it's on wheels like a motorhome. Some houses are on wheels too. But reach out to the Big C Team, BigCsports.pacwm.com, because houses get lonely too. Looking to recruit 10,000 real estate agents and brokers all over this country that want to put their listings on TV, just like State Farm does it, McDonald's does it, Nike does it, car dealerships are doing it, watch sports teams, and real estate work for you. 800-772-8624 if you're looking for opportunities in real estate. 800-772-8624. Also, if you pay attention how the rich people are taxed in this country, there's a new tax plan coming out. You want to escape it? I got some good old boys that were in Bloomberg.com, some news articles. It was actually came out on February 9th, 2021. The richest Americans have a tax loophole, and there's some attorneys that I work with that know how to give them some praise, that know how to get out of that loophole. But reach out to us, 800-772-8624. That's 800-772-8624, and they can definitely help you get through that loophole. Also, I want to say thank you to Xfinity, Comcast TV, and Comcast Spotlight for presenting Big C Sports to the universe. Give us a praise, just like God said in Genesis 1:3. Let there be light. Open your cell phone and let that water hose shine on you. You got to have a water hose when you want to shine on somebody, or is that water in your garden? I know you need a water hose for something, but it needs light. You get to have a wet garden that has a sunlight to it. All for another war. I also want to say thank you to Budweiser Zero. It has 0% alcohol, 100% on its game. Go ahead, give us a praise. Sports fans, when you're watching the big game, eat the Big C burger. It's a tasty burger, and it comes with all this exotic meat. You gotta have some exotic meat in your mouth. And rumor has it tastes better in your mouth than it does in your hand. And I can guarantee, if you ever hold a Big C burger and it takes two hands to hold it. If you ever hold a Big C burger, if you can tell me that it tastes better in your mouth than it does in your hand, I will stand on my head. I guarantee it. And I've never had to stand on my head. It always tastes better in your mouth. The Big C burger. People say, what's all this exotic meats? It's called a Big C burger. All fair and level war. We're going to take the chance to say Super Draft Pro for all you fantasy sports out there. What some games we had over the weekend. Justin Herbert with the Chargers are doing his thing. Also, Dak Prescott did his thing. We'll talk about that later in the show. But Super Draft Pro, fantasy sports, season entertainment, all-purpose sports website. Go to superdravepro.com/Big C Sports. It is featured in Sports Illustrated, Yahoo Sports, Associated Press, RotoWire, and Sportico. Subscribe to unlock your exclusive betting experiences with superdravepro.com/Big C Sports, the official fantasy partners of Caesars Entertainment. And it's a praise. It's all fair and level war. We're going to take what's called the Big C pause, also known as the Big C timeout. And when we come back, we're going to talk some more about a lot of sports that happened over the weekend. In the words of the former California Governor, Arnold Schwarzenegger, I'll be back. All right, we are back from the Big C pause, also known as the Big C timeout. You can follow Big C Sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, of 17 podcast applications all over the universe. Really appreciate that. I always pay homage to high school football, Friday Night Lights, Big C style. And I want to just congratulate all the top 10 high school football programs in the country. Give them all some praise. They work really hard. And I really appreciate, I want to pay homage to the cheerleaders too, because I learned this song when I was playing high school football. My biggest rush was 223 yards. I think I had 12 carries. As I get older, it was like 10 carries, but I think it was really like 20 carries, 223 yards and 4 touchdowns. They gave me the praise. And I learned that we got spirit. Yes, we do. We got spirit. How about you? I love that. And I learned how to spell bananas. Go bananas, B-A-N-A-N-A-S. It's all fair word. It wasn't an English class. I learned it from the cheerleaders. Number one in the country. Number one, it's like this every single year. Number one on high school football. Number one modern day high school of Santa Ana, California. Give them some praise. Number two, IMG Academy out of Florida. They're 5-0. Give them praise. Number three, you have Westlake High School in Texas. They are 6-0 in the season. Number four, Thompson, Alabama. They are 8-0. Number 4 in the country. Number 5, St. John Bosco of Bellflower. They are 6-1. The only loss comes from number 1 modern day. They're in the same league, by the way, the Trinity League. Give this a praise. Number 6 in the country, you have Bergen Catholic out of New Jersey. They're 6-0. Number 7, Collinsville, Georgia at 7-0. Number 8, Servite of Anaheim. They are 7-0 in the same league with St. John Bosco of Bellflower and also modern day of Santa Ana. Give them some praise. What a tough league. You can be the 3rd best team in the league and still ranked number 8 in the country. Number 9, Center Grove out of Indiana. They are 8-0. Followed by number 10, Katy High School of Texas. How about them Texans? All fair. The level of California has 3 of the top 8 high school ranked football teams. And people say, how do you know? Because I counted all of them. Congratulations. Give them all some praise. Really appreciate that. I want to get into what happened over the weekend. I mean, there's a lot of baseball, a lot of football. Everybody had a great time watching sports over the weekend. I want to make sure that I do my best to talk about, some of the games in NFL football were just absolutely amazing, especially down at beautiful SoFi Stadium in Southern California, where the Chargers did their thing, and they took Cleveland. This is not for you. LeBron said, Cleveland, this is for you. They said, Cleveland, this is not for you. They said, not for you. And the crowd was absolutely amazing. Down there in SoFi Stadium, a lot of people were saying that the Browns will have more fans than the Chargers. I doubt it. I don't think so. It's all fair and level war. But I want to bring you some early things that happened in NFL football over the weekend. Of course, we started out last week with the LA Rams with a 26-17 win over the Seattle Seahawks. I'm going to run down a couple of things that happened by scores. It was Minnesota 19, Detroit 17. Pittsburgh got on the win side again, 27-19 over Denver. Tampa Bay 45-17 over Miami. In all Florida occasions. New Orleans 33-22 over Washington. Philadelphia got the groove back 21-18 over the Carolina. And the Panthers got the short end of that stick. Tennessee, touchdown Henry, touchdown Henry, touchdown Henry. As I said, they stood 37-19 over Jacksonville. New England came back to beat Houston 25-22. Houston, we have a problem. Chicago, how about those Raiders? I got John Gruden kept speaking. He said, we got a lot of players. We got some big lips on this team. How can we get away with that? And people keep saying he's a good guy. I mean, it's all fair and love and war. Imagine if he said that about other ethnic groups. You think he would have got the $100 million? Chicago Bears, 29 over the Las Vegas Raiders. Chargers, 47-42. Game of the week, in my opinion. Dallas, how about the Cowboys? Give them some praise down in Big D. 44-20 over the Giants. Arizona with a tough 17-10 win over the San Francisco 49ers. Buffalo with a beatdown of the Kansas City Chiefs. No one ever saw that one coming. And now we have tonight game. We have Indianapolis at Baltimore already underway. You know, I love football, and everybody has their own opinion about who the better teams are. But there's something about the way the Chargers are playing right now, and their coach has some stones because he kept going for it on fourth down. He trusted touchdown Justin Herbert, and that, in my opinion, is why they are 4-1 on the season. They're an amazing team, but I'm going to run down a couple of teams, and everybody has their own thoughts about it and how these teams shape up. But I'm telling you, there's something about the Chargers and their powder blue jerseys that just makes them, I mean, they should be in San Diego. I know they started the first year back in Los Angeles. I think it was 1961. Well, they're in LA now, and I'm sure as they keep winning, people will start embracing them. Arizona Cardinals, they shut down the 49ers offense and rookie quarterback Trey Lance, starting to debut in a 17-10 victory on Sunday to remain the league's only unbeaten team. The Cardinals improved to 5-0. Isn't that something? They've only scored fewer than 30 points one time, and that was on Sunday against that tough 49er defense. I know the 49ers have a couple of injuries and some hiccups in their giddy-up. All's fair and love and war. I want to keep it down in the southern part of the country because I'm going into Las Vegas, but John Gruden gave one of the most motivational speeches to Damari Smith. He put it in writing. He said he had big lips, and he had some derogatory things to say. If he had said that about other ethnic groups, I doubt if he would have still got the $100 million over 10 years. You know, Al Davis was one of the Mavericks in the NFL that bucked the trend, one of the first to hire African-American coaches. And now you have Mark Davis hiring John Gruden, who has some very derogatory things to say about African-Americans. And he said, I'm done talking about it, and that's it. I think that's the wrong attitude to have. You just say, whatever I got to do to make people understand that I'm really contrite and show contrition. But he didn't say that. He said, I've already answered the question. I'm not talking about it anymore. Imagine if he had said that about some other ethnic groups. But so I guess when you're African-American, they try to give you a pass. The Chicago Bears topped the Las Vegas Raiders 20-9 in the road win. It was touchdown Justin Fields, who looks a lot like Damari Smith, if that makes sense to you ethnically, was 12 of 20 for 111 yards and one touchdown. And that got them a win. The Raiders lost 2 straight since a 3-0 start, and the Bears are very much alive with Fields at the helm. They are 3-2. You know, I really, in my own opinion, I think a lot of the Raider players, they know what John Gruden said. And I don't think a lot of them really want to support him anymore. And whether the NFL does anything to show that they don't support what John Gruden did or said, well, that's, you know, time will tell. Right now, I guess he has their full support. As far as I know, nothing's happened, an apology, and he felt he could get away with it. It's a shame, though, because, you know, my mother went through the same kind of vitriol when she managed a Little League baseball team. There's some people who said, I will not ever listen to one of them telling me what to do. She was the only black woman in the Little League that had about 20 teams. And some people said they were not going to have their kids be coached by one of them. You know, John Gruden knows what he's talking about, what he called Damari Smith. Well, she said, if you don't want to listen to me, quit. And the coach gave her 100% support. We ended up winning the league that year. But I understand it wasn't a good feeling to have her say that some people had an attitude just because that she's beautiful and black. The most beautiful woman in the history of the universe. All fair and love and war. Cleveland Browns, they wanted to play ball. They wanted to have the ball last. It didn't work out. I thought the Chargers should have taken a knee when Eckler was running the ball right around a minute 20 in the game. Cleveland was out of timeouts, and he was on the, think about the 3-yard line, and he tried to just squat down, and he should have just fallen down on the ground. They were looking to set up for the field goal to try to win that game, even though their kicker had missed 2 in the game. But I thought if he would have fallen down, then they couldn't pull him into the end zone. So that was a clever play by Cleveland to try to do that. Cleveland, this is for you. They tried to pull him into the end zone, and it worked. Next time, just go on the ground, and that way they can't do that. When you take a knee and your touchdown, it would have stopped. But the Browns pushed Austin Eckler in the end zone on the play with the hopes of a last-second touchdown to seal the win on the road. The Chargers prevailed on the defensive side, and they probably would not have done that had they not had such confidence from the offense going for it on 4th and 2. I think it was 4th and 2 and 4th and 8. They got a penalty on one play, and then they completed on the other. Justin Herbert's a stud. It was amazing, a shootout of a game. The Chargers are now 4-1 in the league, and I'm really impressed. You know, Justin touchdown Herbert, 398 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, and he had 0 turnovers. Give Justin Herbert some praise. You've got to give him praise for that. And the Chargers are now the Lightning Bolts. That's right. The Lightning Bolts are 4-1 on the season, and they've won 3 straight games. Only lost, last-second field goal to the Cowboys. How about them Cowboys? Speaking of the Cowboys, give them some praise. A fight during the Giants-Cowboys had an incredible game, but Giants receiver Kadarius Toney is rejected after throwing a punt because he thought it was fighting Deontay Wilder. Tyson Fury knocked him out, but Toney didn't knock anybody out. Ejected for throwing a punt at Dallas safety DeMonte Kazee, and Toney had 10 catches, 189 yards. Not a very smart thing to do. Dallas with a beatdown, 44-20 over the Giants, and touchdown Dak Prescott did his thing. It's all fair in love and war. I really appreciate seeing how great the Cowboys are playing. I think even Jimmy Johnson was saying on television, this might be the greatest Cowboys team since he saw when he had Aikman and he had Smith and Irvin and them good old boys. So I think maybe he might be right. The Eagles, this game is sponsored by the Big C Burger. It's a tasty burger, and it comes with what's all this exotic meat. The Eagles surprised the Panthers, and an Eagle and a Panther are exotic meats. They look like they'll be in the mix. I'm telling you, somebody's got to catch those Cowboys. Did the Eagles expose the Panthers? What was the most surprising result of the early game? When you think about it, the Eagles had a great game. I mean, it was amazing. I really appreciate the way, if you really think about how the Eagles played, they were giving up. A lot of people give up on them throughout the season, but we're only in week 5, and they're starting to make some progress. I know they'd given up 40 points prior in their last couple of games coming into it, but you got to just give them praise. They went in there and they knocked off the Carolina Panthers, and that's a tough place to win, but they got it done. Also, you know, I'm thinking about something too. When I think about it, the Chargers and the Browns, that might have been game of the day. But I also want to say, I know people don't think about it this way. The 49ers, that might challenge for game of the day because they have so many injuries. But Debo makes a game in Arizona. 13-yard scamper cut the 49ers deficit to 10-7 late in the third quarter. And the Cardinals, you know, they try to remain the league's only undefeated team, and they pulled it off. But there was a time when Trey Lance was hit right at the goal line, and the crowd went nuts as they stopped him from scoring a touchdown for the 49ers. And that, to me, was the difference in the game because they fought hard, and you got to give them credit. And if not that, then what? It's all fair and love and war, but I really appreciate Trey Lance. Had a great game. He's still a rookie. He had a class that flirted on him, but now he's going to get most of the reps with the first team, and that's going to help them start winning more games. It's all fair and love and war. I want to address also kind of a sad news you kind of feel for good players. On the Giants, Saquon Barkley, injuries, has an ankle injury. And Daniel Jones also hurt versus the Cowboys. The Giants running back Saquon Barkley was ruled out after injuring his left ankle during the first quarter of the New York Giants Week 5 matchup against the Cowboys at AT&T Stadium. And the crowd was amazing. Down in Texas, they really love their Cowboys. Give them a lot of praise. That crowd always shows up. Dallas is loaded. And their only loss came with a last-second field goal at Tampa in Week 1. Isn't that amazing? But back to Barkley, rolled his ankle, wasn't even carrying the ball and trying to avoid a Cowboy defender. The medical staff used a car to transport him to the locker room after being in initial exam on the bench. And then the Giants quarterback, Daniel Jones, he had an apparent injury late in the second quarter and was ruled out to start the second half. Mike Glennon replaced Jones. So I really, you worry about the Giants and how Barkley just came off the injury just 2 years ago. And now you got a chance to come back and get injured again. Football is a tough game, but I hope that he will recover sooner than later. It's just tough to see good guys go down. I want to also take you to another great game. It was the Cincinnati Bengals and the Green Bay Packers. Nobody wanted to win this game. Nobody. The crowd was amazing. I mean, it's is like a team who had hot potato. Nobody wanted to win. But Joe Burrow was also taken to the hospital for a throat contusion. But the Bengals quarterback, he was taken to the hospital following the 25-22 loss in overtime to the Green Bay Packers. And also a touchdown, Aaron Rodgers. You give him any time, he'll get you in field goal range. Did it twice for them, and Crosby kept missing, but the last one he kicked it through. But when you think about it, Burrow was 26 of 38, 281 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions in the loss. But the touchdown, Aaron Rodgers, again, another game over 300 yards. He just climbs up every category, it seems, when you give him a chance. He's going to find a way to beat you, or at least get his team in position. We're going to take what's called the Big C pause, also known as the Big C timeout. When we come back, we'll go down the rest of the second half of the NFL. And the words of the former California Governor, Arnold Schwarzenegger, I'll be back. All right, we are back for the Big C pause, also known as the Big C timeout. You can follow Big C Sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, on 17 podcast applications all over the universe. Really appreciate that. Back to Cincinnati. What a great game. This game went all the way down to the wire. And that, in fact, down to the shoelaces, because nobody wanted to win. It was a great game, though. Perhaps no game was exemplifying as much as the Packers' overtime win versus Cincinnati. When you have place kicker Mason Crosby missed 3 straight field goals. That's unlikely for him. And the Bengals kicker, Evan McPherson, kicked it. He kicked the ball. The kick is away. It is no good. But he didn't know because he started dancing up and down. But it was right, left, and hit the flag up on the crossbar and the top end of the crossbar. And it was like, I can't believe nobody wants to win that game. But if you think about it, Crosby was able to connect on a 49-yard in overtime. That gave Green Bay a 25-22 win. And when you think about it, they're a good football team. Everybody has their beliefs about who the best team in the NFL this year is. And I'm telling you, Green Bay is right up there. Devontae Adams over 200 yards receiving, giving some praise out of Fresno State and Palo Alto High School. It's all fair and love and war. Really appreciate that. And speaking of players, like, he's not Aaron Rodgers yet, but they're the same division. Justin Fields, his first NFL touchdown pass. His first NFL touchdown pass to Jesper Horsted for 2 yards. Get that good boys in place, and he did it down in Las Vegas. You want to gamble? Make sure you go to Las Vegas. It's all fair and love and war. The Patriots avert their worst start since 2000 in a comeback win versus the Texans. Overcame a 13-point second-half deficit to beat the Houston Texans 25-22 on Sunday, snapping a 2-game losing streak and avoiding a major upset. The Patriots avoided their worst start since 2000, Bill Belichick's first season as head coach, when they opened 0-4, and they finished 5-11 that year. New England is now 2-3 for the second straight year. And the way they're playing, they're not going to beat Buffalo. And we know they already lost the game to Miami, but they have a chance of the Jets getting that done versus the Jets. You know, I really like how they came back, but again, they came back against Houston. Houston entered as an 8-point underdog, and rookie David Mills led up the Patriots defense in the first half, threw for 202 yards and 2 touchdowns. The crowd was acting like, hey, we're going to win? You think we're really going to win? Ravens Mac Jones completed 23 of 30 passes, 230 yards, had a touchdown and an interception. But it's all fair and level war. The Good Boys came back, and they got the win for Belichick. You know it would have been tough if they didn't win that game. People would have said, maybe Tom Brady does make a big difference. It's all fair and level war. And how about across the pond? They follow Big C Sports across the pond, give us a praise. The favorites finished 5-4 the early game, including in London over 5-4 as well. Cincinnati Green Bay game proves why it's always important to get the best number possible. Cincinnati's betting, holding a 3.5-point ticket in the early game, cashed in. But you all think about it too. The Packers, I think they were minus 2.5 going into the game. They cashed in too. Just what a great game. With the Packers Bengals in overtime, it's only the second time ever that the season has begun with an overtime game in each of the first 5 weeks. All fair and love and war. I want to take you to a touchdown Big Ben Roethlisberger. Give Big Ben some praise. Give him praise. The Broncos were threatening a comeback, but LO Cool J said, don't call it a comeback. And the Good Boys killed the Steelers 27-19 with 11 seconds left when Pittsburgh led 24-6 at one point. James Pierre intercepted Teddy Bridgewater to seal that win. Also, Juju Smith-Schuster has a little injury to his arm. Hopefully, he'll be back soon. He'll be like Arnold Schwarzenegger and say, I'll be back. He'll be back sometime soon. And then the Vikings, they take down the Lions, kind of feel for the Lions. It was Greg Joseph's kick that helped the Vikings win as time expired, sending the Lions to 0-5 on the season. That's the same coach that said they're going to break kneecaps and knock in heads and do all kind of junk to people. But he didn't say he wasn't talking about his own team. He may be doing that, but it's like he did it to his own team. Man, you got to feel for them. The Lions lost it was a record field goal, and they lost to the Tennessee Titans. And I think that was a 66-yard field goal by Tucker. And now they took down to the wire against the Minnesota Vikings. And they just seem to be a little bit lion-bitten. I won't say snake-bitten because they're lion-bitten, if that makes sense to you. And they just can't seem to get on the right side of the winning. So maybe if they have a game against Jacksonville coming up, that will help somebody get off the losing side of things. I really do appreciate NFL football, how everybody fights so hard. Speaking of his 20th straight losses for the Jacksonville Jaguars, think about this. The latest comes at the hands of AFC South rival, the Tennessee Titans. The Jaguars are the first team since 1977 to lose 20 straight. And I think that was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think they lost 26 straight, if my math is right, if that makes sense to you. So they have a tough year, Jacksonville. They keep saying they're going to try to right the ship. They're going to try to do the best they can to stay positive and stay motivated. And maybe, just maybe, they'll find a way to win some games and not go winless throughout the season. Nobody wants to go winless. It's all fair and level war when you turn things around, and they'll try to do that as fair. I mean, even the New York Jets were going through the same thing. I think it was last year, and they ended up winning a couple of games at the end of the year. So there's still hope in Jacksonville. I want to say one more thing about Coach Urban Meyer. I really appreciate his wife coming out to defend him, because there's a lot of people that jumped on Urban Meyer about what he was doing with some fans that wanted to touch the coach, but they want to reach out and touch somebody's hand. And who doesn't need a hug every now and then? We just come out of COVID. People are crazy. Nobody wants to be nice to anybody. But his wife defended him. Look at every person in the media that said, oh, they should fire the coach. How dare he have some woman want to do a lap dance on him? Almost every athlete enjoys a lap dance. People enjoy massages, back rubs, all kind of stuff. People need to be hugged. People need love. I'm not saying that what he did was right or wrong. That's he and his family. Most people are polyamorous. They just don't say it. But they do what they got to do. They do what they want to do. But I appreciate her for coming out. And for everyone that wanted to put their hands or their negative opinion on her husband, she said, back off. That's my man. And I give her a standing ovation for that. A lot of people let the enemy in. She said, stay out. And I got to give her praise for that. How dare somebody say that they're perfect? He who's without sin, cast the first stone. If you look at all the people that are criticizing him, saying he should be fired for whatever he did, look in their private lives and see what they do. All's fair and love and war. Before we get into some college football, did you see the Oklahoma-Texas game? Oh, my goodness. The Oklahoma-Texas game was really a shootout. Going to cap off the NFL again. Atlanta 27 to Jets 20. Green Bay 25. Cincinnati 22 in overtime. Minnesota 19, Detroit 17. That game was in overtime. What a game it was, too. Pittsburgh 27, Denver 19. Tampa Bay 35, Miami 17. New Orleans 33. Washington football team 22. All fair and love and war. Philadelphia 21, Carolina 18, Tennessee 37, Jacksonville 19. New England 25, Houston 22, Chicago 20, Las Vegas 9. I guess loose lips, sink ships. Isn't that right, John Gruden? New England again. What a come from behind win. The LA Chargers, in my opinion, the Lightning Bolts in the game of the day. With a 47-42 win over Cleveland. Dallas 44, New York Giants 20. Arizona 17. San Francisco 49ers 10 down in the desert. Buffalo beat Kansas City 38-20. And then Indianapolis tonight playing the Baltimore Ravens. It's all fair and love and war. We're going to take what's called the Big C pause, also known as the Big C timeout. When we come back, we'll talk some about the Ravens and the coach, and then we'll get into college football as well. In words of the former California governor, Arnold Schwarzenegger, I'll be back. All right, we are back from the Big C pause, also known as the Big C timeout. You can follow Big C Sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, on 17 podcast applications all over the universe. Really appreciate that. Monday Night Football. Are you ready for some football? Of course you are. Monday Night Football doing its thing. The Indianapolis Colts are taking on Lamar Jackson, the Baltimore Ravens. Remember, the Baltimore Ravens, and they exist because the Baltimore Colts, they left town in the middle of the night. about 3 decades ago, off Friend Love and War. But it's the first time primetime game of 2021 Monday Night Football. And so there's a lot of good things going on. Superman Lamar Jackson, he'll look to put on a show. Don't be surprised if Baltimore has a little bit of not Baltimore, but yeah, Baltimore. Yeah, I said it. If the Baltimore Colts get the run for Ravens, Baltimore will win. Baltimore wins. Love it work. Indianapolis Colts. In this segment, sponsored by the Big T Burger. It's a tasty burger, and it comes with what's all this exotic meat. And the Colts and the Ravens are exotic meat, if that makes sense to you. All fair and level war. Looking forward to that. I'm thinking that touchdown will be made by Superman Jackson, and he'll do his thing. The Colts were expected to do a lot better this year before the season began, but once the season started, it just shows that they had a little bit higher of a mountain to climb. Baltimore at home, their defense is amazing. Superman Jackson's amazing. That's a team that's going to be very tough to beat. But give them all some praise. There's a lot of fans in that stadium tonight, and they're looking forward to a great pursuit in football. I really like how everybody is looking at Superman Jackson. You know, there's talk about how he finally got over the hump on Patrick Mahomes, but so is Josh Allen. I said when the season began that the Chiefs would not be the AFC champion, and it looks like they might have that right prediction. It's hard to get there 3 years in a row, back-to-back Super Bowls, but Monday Night Football has a divisional matchup for 3 consecutive weeks, and when you think about it, that will change during Week 5 of the 2021 NFL season. 2 AFC teams would meet for the second consecutive year. Both teams were playoff teams last year. The Colts were the first ever 7 seed in the AFC playoffs after the NFL expanded the bracket last year, and they snuck in during the final week of the postseason and had a pretty decent showing against the Bills in the wildcard game. Thought they actually could have won that game in Buffalo. But now, when you look at what's happening in Baltimore, Baltimore's a different breed of cat. I really like the Colts at times in the preseason, but now I think the Ravens are just a better football team. It's the 10th time these two teams have played in Baltimore since the Ravens came into the league. And the Colts originally played before leaving Indianapolis back in 1984. And the Baltimore crowd may hold a little bit of animosity for that. I mean, that's a long time to hold animosity, 30 plus years, with that 35 years, 36 years, all fair and love and war. But Indianapolis, they got to figure out how to slow down Lamar Jackson. He's averaging 340 yards of offense per game. That's more than 12 NFL teams are averaging. You got to give that good old boy some praise. Give him praise. He's doing that on his own. On his own, he's doing his thing. So when you think about it, the Colts, 320 yards. And that good old boy is doing 340 on his own. The Colts will have to either deal with Jackson to keep him in place. If you force him to pass, he's a good passer. If you force him to run, he's a good runner. Now, the Ravens defense allowed 170 yards passing per game in each of the last 2 games. The secondary is a little bit healthier now. I think they're just a very good football team. The Colts are 1-3 and slightly off the Titans' pace in the NFC South. But I'm going with Baltimore to win this game. It already kicked off 8:15 p.m. East Coast time at E&T and MT Stadium in Baltimore. It's all fair and level war. May the best team win, and I'm sure Baltimore will get that win. For some of you who are not aware that the Baltimore Colts left back in 1984. It's all fair and level war. But I love their big sports. Now, when you think about it, college football, there's some great games over the weekend. Number 1, Alabama lost. They lost to an unranked team for the first time in 100 games for Nick Saban. But A&M's a lot better than an unranked team when you think about it. Texas A&M, they shocked Alabama, and that crowd is amazing. Oh my goodness, they stand, the 12th man stands forever. They're probably still standing down there in College Station. But A&M knocks off Alabama in week 6. After 679 days, Alabama finally has another loss. And a lot of teams are saying, thank goodness. Nick Saban even called him Aflac to lick the wound of the Crimson Tide. If you were 1 week after losing a home opener to Mississippi State, Texas A&M shocked number 1 Alabama 41-38 at Kyle Field. That place is a madhouse. That is a football stadium. And Seth Ball making a 28-yard field goal to win the game as the Tide suffered their first loss for September 30, 2019 against Auburn. I think in both games they had 3 turnovers. The loss to Auburn back in 2019 and this game against A&M. Think about it. Quarterback Zach Caldaza, 285 passing yards, and 3 touchdowns in front of that Kyle Field. What a great place for a football game. Think about this. Alabama's win streak is over at 19 games. But they'll still be back in the thick of things. All they got to do is win the SEC title game. They'll be back in the national championship hunt. There's a lot going on in that game. They knocked them off. It had a lot of unforced penalties. Alabama dropped a lot of passes. All's fair in love and war. It's the first loss by a number 1 team to an unranked team since Oregon State knocked off USC back in 2008. It'd be nice if USC could get back on the winning side of things. Oh, my goodness. What a game. Give them all some praise down there at Kyle Field at Texas A&M, knocking off the number 1 team in the country. But you want to go to the best game of the day, the all-time Red River Shoot. Oh, my goodness. That showdown was amazing. Texas and Oklahoma met in the Cotton Bowl. It's always a good thing for people barbecuing. The beer is flooding. It's sponsored by the Big C Burger, a tasty burger, and it comes with all this lot of meat. It also goes great with Budweiser Zero. It has 0% alcohol, and it goes great with the Big C Burger. All fair and level war. The 2021 season is amazing. The number 6 Sooners came back from 21 points behind to beat the number 21 Longhorns 55-48. What a game. Freshman quarterback Caleb Williams was the story of the day for Oklahoma. The Sooners, they played Spencer Rattler for the second year, and he put up 300 total yards and 3 touchdowns. What a game it was. The play of the day came in the last seconds of the game. Oklahoma running back Kenny Brooks took a direct snap and ran 33 yards. That good old boy, 33 yards to the house. And that was it for the Sooners. I mean, they're 16-7 since 2000 in that rivalry game. It's really been all Oklahoma. But what a game. If you didn't like that game, you probably didn't like the Red River Shootout of all fair and level war. Also, another last-minute victory. When you think about it, number 17, Ole Miss went down to the wire in order to get a 52-51 win over Arkansas. Number 13, Arkansas. Why would you go for 2? Why'd you go? They could have kicked it and kept playing overtime. It's all fair and level war. They went for 2 and they missed it. Ole Miss quarterback Matt Corral gave his team the lead with a huge 68-yard touchdown to wide receiver Brandon Sanders on the ensuing drive. The Razorbacks decided to go for 2 and win the game after coming out of the Lane Kiffin squad with no time left on the clock in the 4th quarter. The Ole Miss got the stop and earned his 4th win of the season, but why would you not go and just pick the PAT? Number 19, Wake Forest needed a bit more than Ole Miss to remain undefeated at 40-37. 40-37 win at Syracuse. The Demon Deacons were locked on a back-and-forth goal with the Orange all day. It came to an overtime as Syracuse came up with the only field goal, the first possession, and then Wake Forest finished the game off with a still a 22-yard touchdown to walk out of the Carrier Dome with the win. It's all fair in level war. What a great game also in the Big Ten. Number 3, Iowa battles back to beat number 4, Penn State. I thought Penn State had a couple injuries. Not going to blame the injuries, but I think it was a factor. It clawed its way back into the game against number 4, Penn State with a 23-20 win. What a great crowd on hand. The Nittany Lions were leading the majority of the game. But Penn State quarterback Sean Clifford had to leave the game up 17-3 with an injury. And that's why I think Penn State fell, my opinion. The Hawkeyes looked over from there, and they got the go-ahead touchdown, 6 minutes left, and then had a tough defensive stand. But, you know, my opinion, I mean, give them praise. Give them some praise. They won. But Penn State, when the quarterback went out, that was spelled that game was all fair and level up. I want to get on and think about Boise State. I called this game that they would knock off number 10 BYU. Boise State came close to beating University of Central Florida. They lost by a touchdown earlier in the year. And then they missed a field goal. They were going to beat Oklahoma State at home. Well, this time, the third time's a charm. Give Boise State some praise. The Broncos, they are 6-3 all-time versus top 10 teams. Boise State is 6-3 all-time versus top 10 teams. BYU is undefeated coming into their matchup against Boise State. The Broncos out of the Mountain West. But the Cougars fell to the Broncos 26-17 in Provo, Utah. And Boise State's team, that defense came up big. They're a good team in the Mountain West. 3 fumbles recoveries, and an interception, and 2 turnovers on downs. So BYU gave a good fight, but Boise State showed that they can play with those good old boys. It's all fair and level war. I really appreciate it. And I just appreciate everybody that loves college football. Give them all some praise. Give them praise. Utah knocks off USC at the Coliseum. Man, it's not looking good for the USC Trojans. They got to go get Nick Saban. He's probably want to leave Alabama now. Go get Nick Saban, get OJ down there to recruit him, quit messing around. Everybody knows they need to bring OJ in. We're going to take this call the Big C pause, also known as the Big C timeout. When we come back, we're going to talk about some baseball, Major League Baseball style. And down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier. Hold on, Charlton. Who's that? Oh, down goes Wilder. Down goes Wilder. Down goes Wilder. We'll take what's called the Big C pause, also known as the Big C timeout. In the words of former California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger, I'll be back. All right, we are back from the Big C pause, also known as the Big C timeout. You can follow Big C Sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 17 podcast applications all over the universe. Really appreciate that. If you love Major League Baseball, you got to understand that this is great action. Major League Baseball on Monday. The action, the Braves take a 2-1 NLDS lead over the Brewers. When you think about it, Major League Baseball's postseason continues today. A slate of 3 games, and today's slate, the White Sox and the Astros game was rained out in Chicago. The first game of the docket saw the Atlanta Braves take a 2-1 NLDS lead over the Milwaukee Brewers. In the NLDS matchup, the Dodgers and Giants are even at 1 apiece after the Dodgers got even over at Oracle Ballpark in San Francisco just over the weekend. And the Boston Red Sox are attempting to knock out the Tampa Bay Rays if they get it done tonight at Fenway Park in Boston. What a historic ballpark. Now, just so you good old boys know, I did pick Boston to advance. I just picked them. I don't know if they're going to do it or not, but I picked them to advance to play somebody from the West Coast. It'd be nice to see them play the Giants, or maybe they'll play the Dodgers. Who knows? I'm still going with the San Francisco Giants. But when you think about it, the Red Sox would eliminate Tampa Bay with a win tonight, and both sides had to figure out their pitching plans. Following 13 inning game 3 in the pitch. Swung on, hit deep, left field, back to the wall, home run. Say what about the pitch? Over the Green Monster. And it ended the game in a 13-minute walk-off. It's amazing that ballpark in Boston. So today's Astros against the White Sox was rained out. It's going to be played on Tuesday. Houston leads that series 2-1. And then the final, the Braves knocked off the Brewers 3-0. And Atlanta leads that series 2-0. So give Atlanta some praise. The South doing this thing. And Atlanta came from Milwaukee way back in the day. The series that's played right now as we speak, the Rays at the Red Sox. Boston leads that series 2-1. And I think they're going to knock them out tonight. Now, the Giants at the Dodgers, that's a 9:37 first pitch. So already underway. And the series is tied at 1. Man, it seems like these teams are splitting. I said this series would go 5 games, and I think I'm right. I think I'm going to get some praise about that. I said it would go 5 games. The Giants got the first shutout win, and the Dodgers came back and put 9 on the board in Game 2 up at San Francisco. So now they go back to Southern California. It's all fair and love and war. But more in baseball, the Braves, they defeated Milwaukee 3-0 in Game 3 of the best-of-5 series in the NLDS. The Braves hold a 2-1 advantage. Another win is going to send them to the NL Championship Series, and they're going to play either San Francisco Giants or the Los Angeles Dodgers. And there was a time when they were in the same division, if you remember that back in the day. Give them some praise for having to reunite. All spend love and war. So the Braves received another strong outing from their pitching staff. As I said, they would have to have that going into this season. The thing that I'm looking at is tonight down at Chavez Ravine. It's about the Giants and the Dodgers. Both of these teams, a great history. There's a lot of history in this ballpark. And I'm not one on predictions, but I feel like they're going to split down at Chavez Ravine. It only makes sense. These two teams went down to the last game of the regular season. The Giants won 107 games. You can give the Giants some praise on that. The Dodgers won 106 games. Give them some praise on that too. But Chavez Ravine, the crowd is amazing down south. I'm still looking for a split coming out of Los Angeles. And it would be great for baseball to have the two winless teams this year go to a Game 5, decisive Game 5. That would be at Oracle Ballpark in San Francisco. That's just my opinion. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens in this matchup. You can't find much better baseball than what we've seen. And now Houston, Houston can't get out of some issues. Houston Astros manager Dusty Baker says that signal stealing allegations by Chicago are trash. Everybody has their own opinion. But I'm telling you, everybody says that they want to win. But down in Texas, if you're not cheating, you're not trying. It's just a joke. Don't get so mad. People know that's true, though. But I'm looking at it. Everybody loves baseball. You got to love it. I love seeing the hunt for October, the championship teams that are putting it all out there on the line. And I wish baseball nothing but the best. And I really look forward to seeing what happens when we decide who's going to go play the NLDS and the ALDS. It's all fair and love and war. Now, I want to tell you, now that we got some football in, we got some baseball in, we got college football, NFL football, even got high school football in to cover all you good boys that love to see fighting. And fighting with people who are fighting legally. Not like some of the stands that have beer-drunken fans that are going to go out and throw punches at somebody. It doesn't make any sense. So now we get you down in the desert. Now fighting for the championship of the world. Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. They put on a heavyweight battle of the ages Saturday at T-Mobile Arena down in beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada. There were 5 knockdowns. 5. Give them boys some praise. 5 knockdowns. And 3 were knocked down caused by Tyson Fury. 2 knockdowns caused by Deontay Wilder. The crowd was amazing. And when you think about it, they had about 15,800 in the stands. They saw one of the best heavyweight fights in years. Fury dropped Wilder with a crushing right hand in the 11th, causing referee Russell Moore to wave it off and stop it at 110, giving Fury a TKO. He was singing, take the photograph. It looked like another TKO. All fair, 11 war. And so it gave a 2-1 edge in the epic trilogy. Over 3 fights, Fury knocked Wilder down 5 times, and Fury was dropped 4 times. But they saved the best for last. They went at each other with a lot of fight and promotion and all the pageantry before the fight. And in the ring, it went 11 rounds, which is farther than a lot of people thought it would have been. Wilder was weakened by some big shots early by a 280-pound WBC champ. It kept hitting him in the stomach and taking the you hit the body in the sometimes the head couldn't hold up as well. And he kept going to the body. Deontay Wilder kept trying to land one punch knockout swings. Did work against Tyson Fury, who's a better fighter. And as far as knockout artists, yeah, Fury got him where he wanted it. He got to go to the body. He kept going to the body. The crowd saw that. Deontay Wilder felt it also. When you think about it, it was a tough fight. It came in very determined to Fury, a great champion to retain the WBC heavyweight title, the 31st win and 22nd knockout of his career. Give him some praise, knocking out everybody. So you don't have to get in shape to knock people out. He proved that. It's by far the most entertaining fight of the series. Everybody has their own opinion about boxing. But at the same time, people want to see a knockout. Fury knocked him out. Wilder said he wanted to go out on his shield last time. And Tyson Fury said, okay, I'll oblige. He's going out on his shield. But really, I really love good fighting, good sportsmanship is what we need. Both fighters saying that was a great fight. And to go out in the 11th round, a minute, 10 seconds to go. That's all you want. And let's get ready to rumble. They were rumbling down in beautiful Las Vegas. Hopefully there won't be a 4th fight. But then again, there could be. Back in the day, there's a man back in the day that moved Drew down. He would tell Muhammad Ali, down goes Frazier, down goes Frazier. It was down goes Wilder. But he would always tell Ali, you float like a butterfly, you sting like a bee. With all you've got to use, how can you lose? And he said, why are you eating so many big cheeseburgers? Ali said, I'm pretty with all these big cheeseburgers. I can't possibly be beat. I float like a butterfly. I sting like a bee. These big cheeseburgers make me feel light on my feet. It's all fair. It never works. For those of you who like boxing and you think that MMA is taking over, maybe it will take over. But Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, they gave the crowd what they wanted, which is a fight that went 11 rounds. It wasn't something that ended in 2 or 3 rounds like the days of Mike Tyson back in the day. With Mike Tyson, you go to get the popcorn, the fight's over. Down goes Spinks. All fair, never work. My mom always says there's never ever an excuse for racism. You hear that, John Gruden? You talk about the size of somebody's lips. All life came from Africa. You can Google that. It's a scientific proof. But it's amazing how some people can get away with that white skin privilege. They feel they can do anything and say, hey, I'm done talking about it. The NFL is about 75% African American. And from this, the NFL is still investigating a lot of emails that were sent by John Gruden. And ironically, a lot of African American players say they're not surprised. All fair, another war. But imagine had he said something more sinister about another ethnic group, like the majority of the guys who own the league. Did they put up with that garbage? It's a shame, but we will see if the NFL really stands for, no racism, if they're, Black Lives Matter and all this stuff that they talk about all the time, all for another war. Still, he got $100 million, and he had that stuff in writing. No one should ever have to deal with domestic violence or any type of intimidation. Anybody going through that garbage, pick up the phone and ask for help, because no man, woman, or child should ever have to go through that garbage on their own. As we always tell you on every Big City Sports Show, we thank you, we appreciate you, and hope that you have a super fantastic day. Down goes Frazier! Down goes Frazier! That is Wilder. Oh, I'm sorry. Down goes Wilder! Down goes Wilder! Down goes Wilder!